It began with a ghost ship, silent, drifting aimlessly in the open Atlantic, her sails partially set, her cargo intact, and not a single soul aboard. The Mary Celeste, found on December 4, 1872, has puzzled maritime historians, amateur sleuths, and conspiracy theorists for over a century. It is the archetype of nautical mystery, a seaworthy vessel abandoned in haste without signs of struggle or storm. But beyond the intrigue lies a story that is richer and stranger than fiction, a tale of ordinary people swallowed by the extraordinary, of rumor outpacing reason, and of a ship that became a symbol for the unknowable vastness. The story of the Mary Celeste begins not in mystery, but in industry. She was built in 1861 in Nova Scotia, originally named the Amazon. After several voyages and a number of misfortunes, including a collision and a fire, she was sold, refurbished, and renamed. By 1872, she was a 282-ton brigantine with a solid reputation, co-owned by Captain Benjamin Briggs, a seasoned sailor and deeply religious man. Captain Briggs had chosen to bring his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, along for the journey from New York to Genoa, Italy. The cargo? 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol. The crew? 7 experienced seamen, mostly Germans and Americans. According to those who saw them off, spirits were high. The weather was favorable. Nothing seemed out of place. The ship departed on November 7, 1872. A few weeks later, on December 4, another brigantine, the Dei Gratia, spotted the Mary Celeste between the Azores and the coast of Portugal. It was adrift. When the Dei Gratia crew boarded, they found no signs of life, no signs of violence. The galley was in order. The crew's belongings were undisturbed. The cargo was mostly intact, yet the ship's lifeboat was gone. The last entry in the logbook, dated November 25, placed them within sight of the Azores. What followed was a legal inquiry that captured headlines around the world. The British Vice Admiralty Court in Gibraltar, led by Attorney General Frederick Solly Flood, suspected foul play. Suspicion fell, initially, on the Dei Gratia crew. Perhaps they murdered the others to claim salvage rights. Yet no evidence supported this. In the end, the salvage award was significantly reduced, hinting that the court remained skeptical but could not prove wrongdoing. The newspapers ran wild. Headlines like "Ship of Ghosts" and "Crew Vanishes at Sea" stoked the imagination of a public already enamored with tales of the supernatural. With each retelling, the facts blurred and folklore took root. The Mary Celeste was no longer just an abandoned ship. She became a vessel for our deepest fears of the unknown. In the aftermath, explanations for the Mary Celeste's fate proliferated. Some were grounded in science, others in pure speculation. The most conventional theory involved a weather event. Perhaps a sudden squall or waterspout caused the crew to fear for their safety. One idea suggests that the alcohol cargo had leaked, producing fumes that led the captain to fear an explosion. In this scenario, they would have temporarily abandoned ship in the lifeboat, tethered to the vessel only for the rope to snap. But this theory, while plausible, raises questions. Why leave the ship if there was no damage? Why take only one lifeboat? Why was there no sign of return? Another angle focused on piracy. Yet nothing was stolen. The ship's cargo, its valuables, and the crew's personal effects were untouched. Mutiny was also proposed, but again, no evidence. Captain Briggs was respected and the crew well vetted. No blood, no struggle. The supernatural explanations were inevitable. Sea monsters, alien abduction, the Bermuda Triangle. Though it should be noted that the Mary Celeste never sailed near it. One author in the 1880s even suggested the crew ascended into a spiritual dimension. Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, played a curious role in cementing the myth. In 1884, he wrote a short story titled J. Habakkuk Jepson's Statement, a fictionalized account of the Mary Celeste in which he changed the ship's name to the Marie Celeste. His tale involved mutiny and a mysterious African artifact, but his vivid storytelling blurred the lines between fiction and history, adding fuel to the growing legend. Modern analyses have taken a more measured approach. Marine historians and forensic researchers have examined the available logs, meteorological data, and ship construction. One analysis suggests that water entering the ship's pumps may have falsely indicated that the ship was sinking, prompting an emergency evacuation. Yet for every theory, a counterpoint exists. Some say the De Gracia crew's account was too perfect. Others wonder if Captain Briggs might have staged the disappearance. But none of these ideas offer a conclusive answer. The Mary Celeste's enduring mystery owes much to the media. Newspapers in the 19th century rarely let facts stand in the way of a good story. By the time the case reached Europe, it had already morphed into legend. Details were distorted, quotes were invented. The image of a half-eaten meal on the captain's table, often cited, was never part of the original reports. Writers, both journalists and novelists, found in the Mary Celeste a blank canvas. The ship became a literary symbol of unexplained disappearance. It was the perfect ghost story, real enough to unsettle, mysterious enough to evade explanation. Even today, documentaries, podcasts, and YouTube channels continue to explore the case. Each generation finds something new or recycles what was known, dressed in contemporary language and speculation. The story evolves, just as myths have done for millennia. The truth, if it was ever on board, likely went down with the people who lived it. What remains is a vessel, a framework for inquiry. In many ways, the Mary Celeste represents the ultimate human paradox, our simultaneous desire for answers and our enduring attraction to mystery. The Mary Celeste is more than a ghost ship. It is a reminder of the sea's vastness, of human vulnerability, and of how quickly fact can become legend. Her story lives not just in history books, but in the minds of those who are drawn to the sea's cold embrace and the shadows it casts. Perhaps we will never know what truly happened on that voyage, but maybe that's why we can't let it go. The Mary Celeste haunts us still, not with ghosts, but with questions.